Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday, another week in the books. And for those listening to Conrad and Greg, they are both experienced island hoppers, guys that are certainly familiar with the Caribbean. In fact, both have been on boats and gone island hopping. So they're sharing their war stories right now about the beauties of the environment and, of course, the people down there. It is Friday, June 5th. My name is Adam Handler. They call me the Case Handler. They also call me the Shark. And lucky for you, you are officially now cruising with the Case Handler, a show by attorneys, about attorneys. Our firm is Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. We've been around for decades and decades and decades, and we are here to answer your legal questions 100% for free, whether on this show on 93.5 or streaming to Facebook and other social media platforms, or of course, after the show, giving us a ring, and we'll do a phone consultation for 100% free. Our phone number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. I am the partner of the personal injury department. Conrad is the managing partner of the firm and a partner of the immigration department. And Nelson the Maverick Madrid is a partner of the immigration department. And we brought back by popular demand, Greg the Hammer Pinto, former prosecutor, former DA, now gone to the defense side, here to answer all your questions with respect to criminal defense matters for free. We had a wonderful show the other day. He was filling us in as to, how being arrested for peaceful protest would possibly affect your immigration status or any ramifications of it, getting a commercial driver's license or becoming a teacher or even becoming a police officer one day, trying to make a change within that department. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Let's get down to it. David Wagwan King, good morning to you.
Wagwan, who's got the birds? I hear birds in the background. Someone's got birds around there?
That's bees. Me. I got bees.
Me.
It's Conrad, the maestro.
Yes, I'm outside, and the birds and the bees are singing this morning, even though it's cloudy and overcast, but they're out in full force.
Well, I'm very happy we're not saying that this show is for the birds, I'm very happy.
It's not. It's a show about the birds and the bees, so we'll take it for its own spin. But today,
right, no problem.
I decided to change my background, and this is actually my office. For all of you listening on Facebook right now, watching on Facebook, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But this is a picture of my office that our file clerk had taken, and I'm using it as my background. And David, what do you think of my office? Is there anything that stands out to you that would indicate?
So cool? Yeah, I see Bob Marley in the background there, hanging out with you. But you know what? You know what's so cool about this? Let me get rid of this thing in the background. You know what's so cool about it? We can't even tell that you're not physically in your office.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is he in his office?
I got my Bob Marley painting, which I had custom done. I have what is that? About 9 bottles of rum on my file cabinet. By my count, 3 bottles of Ray and Nephew white. Yep,
white rum.
Yep, the Ray and Nephew. Yep. I mean, if I am not a lawyer of the Caribbean people, I don't know who is. And it's because I've earned their respect and earned their trust over these past 2 decades, getting them millions and millions of dollars for their personal injury cases. And of course, working with great attorneys that handle the immigration matters that they or their family may deal with. So again, I'll give out the number, and then let's fire this bad boy up today. 844-774-3529 or 844-PPID-LAW.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's 24 minutes before the hour of 9 o'clock. It's a beautiful Friday. Why? Because we're all alive. Why? Because I've got tons of attorneys on this panel right here on Facebook and also on 93.5 FM. Now, I know when it's overcast, a lot of people, you know what? They just say, oh, man, it's Friday. I just want to go relax. I don't want to do that. I see people here, they're on the beaches. I see people here, they're, having fun because we have virtual backgrounds. But listen, taking care of your immigration problems having the right attorney when it comes to your personal injury is not virtual, it's real. So right now, I want for everyone to understand this show is about immigration. This show is about personal injury and having the right representation. This show is also about criminal defense. We've got Mr. Pinto, the Hammer. Okay, he's on with us. Okay, and he will be speaking on criminal defense. I want everybody to turn your radios up. Now, I need for you all to text someone or call someone and say, hey, tune into 93.5 FM. Okay. As a matter of fact, call or text someone who has never listened to the radio station, someone that you know need information. Information is power, ladies and gentlemen. So you need to definitely harness it. So turn up your radios, ladies and gentlemen. Also, if you are on Facebook, please do us a favor and share the link that you're watching. Please just share that link in groups, on pages, share it on your timelines. We implore you and we ask and we beg and we say, please share it. We want the show to grow exponentially. So once again, just share that link right here on Facebook. My page is David Squeeze Annakie, and Adam's page is, of course, the case handler, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico's page, PPID. Share the page, please. All right. And you will see the wonderful panel of handsome men, if I may say so. All right. Right here on this wonderful panel. And look, Adam is like smiling. You know, we're talking about everybody, Adam. We're not talking about you know.
Listen, I'll go with your lead, man. You think we're all handsome? I'll go with it.
Listen, man. Listen. Let's not even start. All right. So a panel of handsome men, ladies. All right. Right here. All right. And reach out to them. They also are not just handsome, but they have a lot of knowledge in that cranium, and they can answer immigration questions. They can answer questions on personal injury. They can answer questions on criminal defense. With that said, here's the number: 844-774-3529. Conrad always makes me laugh. You got to watch this show, right? When he slurps his coffee. 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Call now. Place your immigration questions also on the Facebook page or call 844-774-3529. Maybe you got a question for Greg Pinto. Maybe you got a question on criminal defense. Maybe you were arrested recently. Maybe you know someone who's incarcerated. Maybe you need someone who needs help. Maybe you need someone who really needs someone to fight for them. We've got a criminal defense attorney on board. Adam Handler, you all know him. He's the case handler. You get hurt in an accident, use him. Okay, use him. He's going for the juggler. That's the reason why we call him the shark. Maximum compensation you will get. Let me be the Star Wars Yoda guy. All right. With that said, let me open up with criminal defense quickly. Hear what Greg Pinto has to say right here on the program as people, you know, share the page. Call the number 844-774-3529. Greg, the Hammer, how you doing, man?
Good morning. You know, I'm a little fired up this morning, I have to say. There was an order last night. I don't know if the audience is aware or even if you guys are aware, but there's a New York State judge who ruled that anybody that the NYPD has locked up can be held in for more than 24 hours, even if they haven't seen a judge. And, you know, that violates everything that I have seen in my career where, look, sometimes under certain circumstances, you may not be able to get somebody in front of a judge within 24 hours. Maybe there's a blizzard. Maybe there's some, you know, like this, massive protests or demonstrations, and there's a lot of arrests. But they have always treated this as an aspirational standard. We want to get you in front of a judge to hear your argument for bail or so that you can hear your charges that you're facing within 24 hours. I can't remember any time that a judge would do something like this. And it just gives the police department free license to just sit on these cases. They do the paperwork as slow as they can just to punish people who are out there, you know, unfortunately getting arrested, some of them rightfully, some of them wrongfully. And it's troubling, man. I don't know what we're doing here.
But Greg, sorry to interject. All right. You know, and people turn up your radar. Whether or not it's rightfully or wrongfully, people have rights in this country we call the United States of America. They have rights. I'll let you continue.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said
Greg, is this New York City or New York State? Is this in New York City?
It was a New York State judge, but I believe the case was referring to the NYPD, so New York City.
Wow.
And, you know, and look, the cops, the lawyer for the police department argued, you know, look, the cops are out there they're bruised and battered, right? There are cops who are getting attacked. There's officers who
Good cops.
Yeah, even good cops. But, you know, and so I think the department as a whole is saying we're so spread thin here that we can't possibly be held to these standards that we would operate under in normal times. But that's why we have judges who say it's your job to figure it out. You have 35,000 officers. Figure out how to move these cases through central booking. Get them in front of a judge. You're not the only party here. You can't only have the police deciding your charges and holding you for 36, 48 hours before you see a judge. A lot of people should be released right away. So it's just really troubling. That is, you know, I frequently hear from my clients, especially the ones who are lucky enough to get released. I always hear those 24 hours were the worst 24 hours of my life, man. I never want to go back there. Pinto, do anything you can to make sure I don't have to take a jail sentence. I'll take a better deal. I'll do community service, you know, and I always think my number one job is keep your butt out of jail, right? Everything else comes second, but if we can keep you out of jail, we've done, you know, we've started to do our job there. And so I'm outraged by it. I really think, you know, they need to be moving these cases much faster.
Absolutely.
These are some people that are just doing nothing other than really breaking curfew. Again, it's against the law, and the law is there for a reason right now. But these are people that are just on the street, you know, breaking curfew, not really doing anything wrong, that are just being held, I guess, in jail because they figure if they're in jail, they can't cause too much trouble on the street, right?
They're trying to silence the protest, it seems to me. If you lock everybody up, you can't have anybody on the streets protesting.
That's the MO coming down from the top. You know, it's very bad, ladies and gentlemen, as we tune into the case handler, cruising with a case handler right here. I hear all these stories that it's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm very happy that we have a law firm, though, that is ready, willing, and able to fight for us. I'm very happy we have criminal defense representation that's there for us. Greg Pinto, thank you so much for being on the show. Once again, folks, a criminal defense attorney is on the show today. All right. You can reach out to this criminal defense attorney by way of 844-774-3529. Way too many times as a community, and we are primarily a Black and Latin community right now tuning into this radio station, majority Black. And of course, you know, let's not pretend. Sheesh happens. TIHS, spell it forward. It happens. And you need to make sure that you have attorneys, you know, ready to represent you. And one thing I want to touch on, you know, also the system makes you believe that you should only use legal aid. Okay. And I'm saying it, I'm disclaiming myself because I have to. I think the system wants you to use legal aid. Okay. You have a much better opportunity when you go private. All right. These attorneys understand you more. And I'm very happy that we have someone who switched from the dark side to the right side. Okay. I'm talking about the hammer. All right. The force is with him right now. So ladies and gentlemen, he's here to help us out. 844-774-3529. Also in the capacity of immigration, he's here to work with immigration attorneys. All right. On what's going on where your immigration benefits are concerned. All right. So just want to make sure that people understand the phone number for the law firm is 844-774-3529. All right. And we've got the Greg Pintos, the hammer, ready to, willing and able to help you if you've ever been arrested. Now, I'm going to flip it over to Adam Handler, who also understands the immigrant community, because more than anyone else on this panel, other than myself, he's been working the longest with the Caribbean community, the immigrant community out there as far as this radio station is concerned. All right. So, Adam, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about accidents and why it's so important for people to come to you when they get into an accident, to you when they fall off that scaffolding. All right.
Well, it all comes down to that, you know, that motto we have, one chance, one choice. You know, personal injury cases, there are no redos. You got one shot to get it right. One shot to get your medical bills paid, both the medical bills that you've incurred in the past and medical bills that you're likely to incur in the future. Same thing with time out of work. You know, anything that you've missed with respect to your income, and future income. I have got many cases that there's a traumatic injury that will prevent you from working ever again, or working in the same capacity, earning the same amount of money. So when we have these big cases, and those are generally the multi-million-dollar cases, those are the situations where we have to think ahead. And not all lawyers think ahead. They just think, what can I get from my client now? What is the case worth now? And they settle the case and earn their fee and move on. But what happens when the client continues and the medical bills continue to pile up, and the time out of work, and of course the pain and suffering? So we understand that acutely, and that's why we, as you say, Squeeze, go for the jugular. We go for every single dollar that we could possibly go for in these cases. And our track record really speaks for itself. Of course, we can never guarantee a successful result, but I've obtained personally over $120 million from my clients over the
Adam,
course.
Adam, I don't believe you, man. Prove it. I want you to prove it right now.
Prove it.
I want you to. If you are the attorney, I know you are.
Okay.
You got a lot of people who have never used you.
I'll prove it. I'll prove it.
Many people out there have never ever used you as a personal injury attorney. Yes, you've been on the station for 15 years. Yes, I know that. But what about the people who are listening and say, "What is this guy talking about? He is settled, millions of dollars."
Let me. I found this the other day, actually, going through some things. And you want me to prove it?
Yeah.
There's a newspaper.
Share your screen and prove it. I want you to prove that.
There's a newspaper called the New York Law Journal, and it comes out every day. And it's a newspaper primarily for lawyers and judges, in which we read about cases and changes in the law. And once in a while, they'll post something about a big case, a notable case. And I like to clip these, and I save them for my own self. And this is something from let's turn off my background real quick, and then we'll hop over to immigration. This is something that I saved, for, I guess, to show somebody one day. But this was from September of 2015. Now, this is only a few months after I brought my practice over to PPID. And on the first page of what's called verdicts and settlements.
We see.
All right, there's something right there, right? And what does that say? That says plaintiff claimed collision caused back injuries. Verdict, $1.5 million. And who's the attorney that got that?
Mr. Adam Handler himself.
Pollack, Isaac DeSico. My first seven-figure verdict while being at Pollack, Isaac DeSico. And it's something that, I kept on kept safe, just to look back on it. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can talk myself blue in the face. Squeeze can talk himself blue in the face. Other broadcasters on this station have talked themselves blue in the face over the past 2 decades about the work I do. All right. If you want an attorney that's serious, and an attorney that's going to treat you like family while also getting an unbelievable result, you're going to keep that number. You're going to save it. Hopefully you never, ever, ever need it, but God forbid you do. You'll be connected to your boy, the case handler. My phone number is 844-774-3529. 844-774-3529. The only attorney out there that, when challenged by David Squeeze Annakie as to the $120 million plus money I've obtained from my clients, can just whip out a newspaper article showing at least $1.5 million of that. I rest my case. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
There goes the attorney. There goes the attorney. Show off. But in a very positive way, ladies and gentlemen, that's the reason why you need a solid personal injury attorney, if and when you get hurt in an accident. Make it the case handler, because you've got one choice, one chance. Make it the case handler. His name is Adam Handler. Call him now at 844-774-3529. He's one of the partners there at 844-774-3529 at PPID, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. 844-774-3529. You need no other attorneys. I know people are about to get back on the road. The country is opening up. The tri-state area is opening up. Everyone's going to be back behind the wheel. Yes, please be careful. But God forbid you do get hurt in that accident or in an accident. You call the number 844-774-3529. 3529 and you ask for the case handler. You can't forget that name. As a matter of fact, better yet, you can't forget the shark. You just can't forget a shark. Just think about a shark, okay? You know, anytime you get hurt in that accident, just say, you know what? I am going to sick the shark on you. Just think about that shark, you know, and big teeth, you know, and but I'm sorry, Adam. I'm just saying,
you're scaring me, man. You're scaring
you are
me.
going to fight for people as if you are a shark to get the biggest bite out of the insurance companies. And you're going to take that and you're going to give it to the people. That's what I like. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the number is 844-774-3529. Before we get to the top of the hour,
Sue the bastards.
There you go. I see it. Before we get to the top of the hour, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's Cruising with the Case Handler. I am here with the personal injury attorney, Adam Handler. I'm here with criminal defense attorney, Greg Pinto. I'm here with immigration attorneys, the managing partner, Conrad Pollack, aka the Maestro. I'm here with, of course, Nelson Madrid, aka the Maverick, and we're here. Now it's time for us to jump to immigration. Okay, before we get to the top of the hour on 93.5 FM, we normally go some extended few minutes on the other side by way of Facebook. So do remember to join us on Facebook at David Squeeze Annakie, Adam Handler's page, or Pollack, Isaac, and the Seacoast page. Now, let's just jump to immigration. Conrad, Nelson, do you guys have anything to touch on before we start getting into questions?
Well, actually, I've just been, for a change, I've just been sitting back and listening this morning. I haven't had much to contribute, but listening to Greg, GP Hammer, I'm listening to the Shark, the case handler brag about all the money he's gotten for his clients. And I'm just thinking to myself, what a just what an awesome team we've put together here. If I'm a client or if I'm just an individual out there, listening to this, and we've basically got every base covered. If something bad happens to you, we've got you covered. If you get into an accident, Adam's there to help you out, to get you whatever you deserve in terms of compensation. If you get arrested, if you're in the wrong place at the right time, you get busted, you're protesting, Greg Pinto, the Hammer is there. We get you right out. Immigration, you're on a street corner hanging out with some friends or whatever, walking out of a store, walking out of your building, and you happen to just bump into an ICE official. You've got the Maverick, you've got me to help you get out of that immigration detention center and help you get your green card. We really are able to provide services with regard to all the bad stuff that can happen to you in your lives. And we've got other lawyers, obviously, at the firm as well, that can help in other regards. But, maybe it's not for me to say, but we have an awesome team here. And if I'm somebody on the other side looking and seeing what we have, what's going on here, I'm saying, hey, yeah, I think we should call these guys, man. They got it covered,
Absolutely. And Nelson?
Just to add, the way we work with Adam is the way we work with Greg as well. Many times we have immigration clients that have a pending criminal case, and it is great to be able to call Greg, have Greg come to my office, or have Greg meet with my client after I'm done meeting with the client just to discuss the criminal case. And as Conrad just said, that's something that a lot of firms don't offer. And it's convenient to keep everything in-house simply because you're not waiting for another attorney to call you back. Some attorneys,
most firms, very few firms have the ability to do what we just described.
Right. And that's my point. And it's, again, also when you reach out to another attorney, let's say there's another criminal defense attorney who's handling the case outside of our firm. Many times you don't get that phone call right away. Many times your client is waiting. Many times your immigration case at least is on hold. It's very convenient to be able to walk down the hall and see Greg and basically ask him what's going on here. Where are we? Greg is very responsive. So I think, as Conrad said, I think we work very well as a team, and I think it's great.
Okay, beautiful.
It's very rare that somebody only needs one type of lawyer. That's what we've seen.
Hence this show.
Yeah.
Hence this show. And I want to say seriously, thanks to Adam Handler. He's the one who was inspired for it to, all start all over again. So I must say,
listen,
accommodations to you, brother.
I guess in my blood and pretty much in everybody's blood on this panel, we're fighters. And man, everybody knows my story or can read about it online. I was with another firm for a while and it didn't end well, but I wanted to continue to do the good work, that I always sought to do. It's in my blood, and kind of started from scratch again. And Conrad, who knew of my practice for a while, took me under his wing, just kind of like he takes other lawyers. He's got an eye for talent. And he's really built this firm from, pretty much just him and his dad.
But Adam, the real question before we get to the top of the hour, all right? The real question is, and be very honest, are you happy?
I'm thrilled, man. I listen, I wake up.
I just want to know
morning.
that, because the people need to know, because they know where we were 15 years ago. They know where you are now. They know
you were with me. You were with me.
Yeah,
the
you
entire
have
time.
spent over $120 million, and here we are today, you and I. Okay, are you happy?
I
with what
am.
the firm
so-
PPID is doing. Are you happy with what you're doing? Are you happy with the capacity of their immigration help? Are you happy with Greg Pinto? Are you happy, Adam Handler? Because you are the representation of the people along with me, seeing that we've been here the longest.
It's not just happy, it's proud. I
Thank you.
am so proud of what we're able to do for this community, the community that's embraced me, the community that has put food on my family's table, right? Has permitted me to do some unbelievable things in my life because we do it the right way. So this is our way of giving back. And this is why we are giving the free consultations. We are the only law firm out there advertising on this radio station, pretty much advertising in New York, giving 100% free consultations to those who you call us. You will get an honest legal answer, 100% free, no strings attached. We just ask that if we can help you, you let us help you. Our number is 844-774-3529 or 844-PPID-LAW. If God forbid you're ever in an accident, you want the lawyer that's going to make the first page of the verdicts and settlement of the New York Law Journal. You don't want some schmuck that's coming up to you at the scene of the accident or in the emergency room. We're the real deal. We're here to help. We'll treat you like family. One love, respect. Have a great weekend. PPID, yeah, you know me. 844-774-3529.
But lick a shot.
Only Nelson, man. All of the Maverick. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. 844-PPID-LAW. We're going to Facebook now. 844-PPID-LAW. Stay with us. Great show.
It's 9 o'clock.
Oh, man, you guys are funny. All right, hilarious. All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cruisin with the Case Handler. And, of course, we've got the attorneys on board. We've got, of course, the Conrad Pollacks, who's got the, if I didn't know better, I would think he's at my house. Okay. Got the backdrop of his side of his house there, going with the shingles. Okay. That's the maestro. We've got the GP Hammer. Okay. All right. I don't know if I like that name, GP Hammer. It
There it is. Look at that. Got the new
no, the Hammer I like, but I don't know about the abbreviations GP because
Why is it GP?
GP is like General Penitentiary,
like Greg Pinto. Greg Pinto.
Well, GP would also make sense anyway, because he's defending people, who could potentially get into, of course, criminal proceedings.
It's funny, you can play off his name. If you get into trouble, you call Greg Pinto, right? Pinto, right. Into.
There you go. All right. So I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, once again, now, Adam, do me a favor, and I need a true success story, man, on a personal.
All right, but then you got to I need some immigration questions. My people out there.
I got them. I got them. I'm racking them up on the WhatsApp right now.
All right, real quick. I'll give you a quick one. All right. Let's see. I don't want to take up, too much of this, because then all of a sudden Conrad's like, can I get a word in? I got to spread the love here. Immigration is what we do. That's actually the biggest department at our firm. Let's talk about a drunk driver, because then maybe, Greg can maybe expound on this as well. We unfortunately represent victims of negligence and, of course, victims of negligence due to driving while intoxicated. This is a case up in the Bronx. His name is Charles, that we were able to, whoops, what did I just do here? Okay, Charles. I mean, listen, a serious car accident. You can see the damage to this vehicle was absolutely devastating. Airbag deployment. The frame was bent. The tires blown out. The real deal. And if you wouldn't mind, Squeeze, reading that quote from Charles in the Bronx. Nope, he's gone. All right. Well, listen, I'll read it then. We're man down right now, but you know what? Maybe we don't even need him right now. All right. The case handler performed very well. They were all very nice to me, and I would highly recommend their team to others. If you want good people to represent you, choose PPID. And that's really across the board, whether it's immigration, criminal defense, matrimony. You want good people representing you. PPID is the firm you need. 844-774-3529. $95,000 settlement. In this case, the maximum policy was $100,000. The insurance company offered 95, and we always present this to our clients. We always say, listen, the maximum is 100, and you probably will be entitled to the 100,000. But unfortunately, you know, your injuries aren't crystal clear. You know, there was a prior accident involved in this case. Whenever anybody has a prior accident, the insurance company always questions whether or not the accident, the injury is from this accident or a prior accident. And of course, an insurance company is not going to, nor do they need to, pay for something that they didn't cause. It's like walking into a store and there's some broken glass on the floor, and the manager grabs you and says, hey, buddy, you got to pay for that. What are you going to say? You're going to say it was broken before I got here. Get the hell out of here. I'm not paying you anything. So it's the same mentality. Anyway, the client decided they didn't want to wait another year. $95,000 tax-free cash over to them. Certainly life-changing money. And this is a client that, you know, we were so fond of. We had a photograph of him. Let's see if we can pull that up. Yeah, this guy right here, Charles right here, if you can see it right in the middle of the screen. He's with my associate, Matthew Goodstein. And as you can see here, we just have, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens of pictures of people holding those big case handler checks, you know, getting full compensation for their injuries when disaster strikes, because we understand, like I said earlier, you got one chance to get it right. One chance, one choice of attorney, your case handler team at PPID. And we're here and we're happy to help.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Adam Handler, ladies and gentlemen, the personal injury attorney, the man we call the shark, the case handler. Remember to reach out to him. His number is 844-774-PPID. That 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPID-LAW. All right, it's time for us to jump into immigration questions. And do remember, if you have criminal defense questions, also you can pop them right here. Let's jump into it. This one, I don't understand this, but I'll let you guys decipher this one. It says, I have a few questions and I'd appreciate your answers. Very authoritative there. All right. Is it necessary that my spouse changes her last name on all her legal documents? That's one. Two, what eligibility category do I file my I-765 under if my wife is a U.S. citizen? Three, do I first file the I-130 online and then send documents, including the I-130 after approval, or it doesn't matter?
There's no four. I'll let the maestro handle that.
You want to give them to me one at a time?
Okay. Is it necessary that my spouse changes her last name on all her legal documents?
No, it's not required, but it is suggested. I always tell my clients to change as much documentation into the married name as possible.
Okay. And by the way, is it still possible for one to change their name after while becoming a citizen?
Sure. I mean, when you apply for citizenship, you can put on the form on the N400 application that you want to change your name or whatever it is. That it's pretty much automatic. It's a nice way if you do want to change your name. And frequently, people, especially from East Asia, frequently have really long names, really long surnames, and they want to shorten them or change them. It's very common. It's very easy to do when you do your citizenship. But with regard to this person, he's obviously applying for adjustment of status, and the purpose of changing his wife's name to the married name is to demonstrate that it's a valid marriage, that they live together, that it's real. Again, I would recommend you change as many documents as possible, especially the important ones. Get an insurance policy, possibly leases, telephone bills, things like that. But it's not required.
Right, gotcha.
Next
question is, okay, has my screen here blanks
You know,
out.
the thing about filing online, we don't file online. You know, if he wants to do that, that's his choice. We submit everything by mail with a check. It works. We don't. When you file online, you're at the mercy of the Immigration Service in various regards. I don't like doing it unless I have to. But that's his choice. The work authorization thing, I don't have the form in front of me. I believe the category is C9, if I remember correctly, if he's applying for adjustment of status.
Okay. All right. Number 2, what eligibility category do I file my I-765 under? My
Please, that was the C9, I think. The category was C9. That's the box.
Right.
And I already answered his other question.
Knock him down. All right.
That's why he's the maestro.
Yeah, I know. By the way, folks, free phone consultations. You got to call now, though. Free phone consultations off air, privately, and confidentially. The number, 844-774-3529. Here's another one. My sister is my petitioner who is filing for me, and I am the beneficiary. Can my mother give the sworn affidavit of birth for both of us?
Yes, it's a fourth preference petition, sibling for sibling. If they're talking about a sworn affidavit by the mother, that means they're having trouble coming up with a birth certificate. Typically, if you don't have a birth certificate, the Immigration Service allows you to supply substitute documentation to demonstrate that the birth happened, that there's a relationship there, and an affidavit from the mother is a good one. You need 2. Maybe somebody who was present at the time of the birth, maybe the father, priest, doctor, somebody, aunt.
Got you. All right.
You know, they can also, just to add, on a case like that, they could also issue a request for evidence and potentially ask for DNA.
Blood test.
Yeah. Adam, have you noticed a consistency here? Have you noticed something that is prevalent here between Conrad and Nelson? You notice that? You notice, and it's been happening more and more. They're so seasoned into the show now. They back each other up. And this is what I'm talking about, people. Attorneys that know the law. They're trying to cover as many bases as possible.
But Squeeze, it doesn't surprise me because this is what we do in the office. You know, we talked about this several weeks ago, and you know, some people are listening now that weren't listening then. You know, this is what we do at PPID. Everyone on this panel, Nelson, Greg, Conrad, myself, we are practicing attorneys. We are actually the lawyers handling the case, right? Dealing with the clients. And a lot of times, to give the best possible representation, we need to defer to colleagues because there maybe is an issue that came up that we haven't seen before, or haven't seen in a while, or maybe there's some kind of cross-pollination, I guess you could call it, between cases. I've had cases in which my clients are, here either out of status or here on a visitor's visa, and we need to work on that to make sure that the PI case goes right. Or Nelson will have a case in which we have to work on something with criminal defense. So he brings Greg in, or Greg has a client in which they have immigration issues. So he has to defer to Nelson and Conrad to make sure that his clients' rights are protected on all fronts. So we always work together.
Adam, I've been doing this now for 36 and a half years. And typically, just like today, I hear the beginnings of a question. I typically know the answer before they finished asking me the question.
Yep. And you answer them so quickly, I don't even realize you answered them. I'm asking them again. I guess, 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. You have attorneys that are proud of what it is that they do for you, ladies and gentlemen. So it's extremely important that, yes, you may not need the number now for a criminal defense attorney. You may not need the number now for a personal injury attorney. You may not need the number now for an immigration attorney. However, you will need the number at some point, as Greg, the Hammer Pinto, stated earlier. So why not take the number of a full service law firm? 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Make sure you reach out to, of course, the attorneys here. I mean, this is a phenomenal.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yesterday I spoke with a listener And the listener's question was if she could file for adjustment of status. The listener had entered on a fake passport, and the listener had made a false claim to citizenship in the 90s. I basically told her, you can, but you will need a waiver. And the only qualifying relatives for a fraud waiver are parent or spouse who are either citizens or lawful permanent residents. She has none. She said to me, I had another attorney who told me I could go ahead and file for adjustment. He never told me about the waiver, right? She was so happy, and that made me happy. She said to me, I appreciate your honesty. I can't thank you enough. I knew it was more complicated than the other attorney told me it was, and I just wanted a second opinion. And I think that's really important because, again, you don't want to start something you can't finish. You don't want to put yourself on the radar unnecessarily. It's a competent lawyer's job to identify a problem before it becomes a problem. You know, at the outset, I knew she needed a waiver. And if she doesn't have a qualifying relative, why start the process?
You know what? This is Nelson. This is one of the reasons we do what we do. This is one of the reasons why we're on this show, why we're providing this service to the community. I cannot tell you, and Nelson, you know what I'm about to say. How many times we get calls from clients? Oh well, my neighbor helped me out with this, or I went to this notary down the block, and there's three floors up. You know, and it was just him and some woman sitting there. I gave him $1,000. You told me don't worry about it. I'll call you in 6 months when I have your green card. You know, immigrants, unfortunately, are easy prey, especially recent immigrants. And unfortunately, there are a lot of unsavory people out there that take advantage of people that don't have the knowledge that we're trying to provide here. One of the services that we're really trying to provide here is that knowledge, that demonstrating the expertise that we have, so we can guide you appropriately, so you don't get swindled, so you don't get taken advantage of, so you don't get screwed by that guy who said he was a lawyer and he wasn't, submitted your documentation to the Immigration Service, and now you're locked up in detention, or your application for adjustment status just got denied because he said something that wasn't true. It happens all the time.
Yeah,
and that's not all, Conrad. Sorry about that, gentlemen. No. You also have attorneys who, and I think Nelson was alluding to it. You do have attorneys who genuinely know that they cannot freaking help people, but take their monies anyway.
Right.
You know, that is very, very sad. I mean, considering that the majority of these people are poverty stricken and is just looking to sort their status out in the United States. And I am with Nelson with his passion, you know, about, you know, being very straightforward with people and not take advantage of people, you know, especially when they work so hard under the radar and they're trying to sort their status out. Just come straight. Just tell people the truth, you know, and not take advantage of them, take their money. And then later on down the road, potentially it's going to be an issue with your license anyway. So why screw around? You know,
it's just not worth it. And then the same goes for personal injury. You know, people say, oh, I'm sure you just take anything. Well, that's not true. You know, I work on a contingency fee, meaning I get paid if and only if I'm successful for you. So why am I taking a case that I'm not reasonably convinced I can win? It's just a waste of the client's time. It's a waste of my time, my resources. You know, we spend our own money on these cases, you know, on medical records and filing fees and experts. So, you know, as long as we know that we have a reasonable chance at recovery because you have a real case, you know, we can prove the accident happened, we can prove your injuries, we're taking it. But there's also baloney cases that we reject. I mean, I think we probably reject more cases than we take because where it's at least 50-50 just because we have to be selective. We don't want to waste anybody's time. And the same thing goes for immigration. You know, we said yesterday, and we said it before, we pride ourselves on not giving refunds. We don't give refunds. We love to say it, not because we take people's money and don't want to give it back to them. We don't take your money if we can't help you, right? We understand, you know, immigration cases are generally thousands of dollars. And if you're working, you know, $15 or $20 an hour and barely getting by, that could take you months to save up for. And we can only imagine how it would feel, blood, sweat, and tears for months just to save up that money, pay the lawyer. And then a few months later, the lawyer's saying, sorry, we struck out. We can't help you. I mean, that is, talk about being a victim twice.
Yep. and I really don't like it, because that's basically where, you know, people in that professional capacity is using the ignorance of a people by exercising duress on them. It's just not right. And I'm very happy that PPID is a firm that sets themselves apart from every other law firm. I have seen that. You all don't know this. You all don't know this. But a lot of the people who call the firm, they call me first. And a lot of the people who also call the firm call me afterwards. And they tell me the feedback that they get from the firm. So that's the reason why I get on the radio every day. If you notice, I've not even missed a day yet. Let me knock on wood. All right. Because I love doing this show. So I know what it is that, you know, the Nelson Madrid, the Maverick, is doing. I know what Conrad Pollack is doing. I know what the Greg Pintos are saying to the clients. I definitely know what Adam Handler is saying. And that's the reason why I say, people, this is the right firm. Took me some time to get the right firm back on the radio and here, but here we are. Yes, Nelson.
Squeeze, sad story. I have a client who was basically injured in an accident. Mm-hmm. He went to another lawyer. The other lawyer said, okay, I'll take your personal injury case. Oh, and guess what? You have an immigration case as well. And don't worry about it. I'll use the money from the personal injury case to pay for your immigration case. His personal injury case went south. And he basically told the client, guess what? You need to find another immigration attorney. I can't represent you any longer. Okay. My client was ordered deported. And we're trying to get his case reopened, but it's extremely difficult, you know, and this just ties into what Adam says, you know. At PPID, Adam does personal injury, period. Greg does criminal defense, period. Conrad and I do immigration law, period. You know, we're not jack of all trades, master of none. You know, there's a lot of attorneys out there who claim to know criminal law, family law, personal injury, you know, one attorney doing 5 different or practicing in 5 different areas of law. I personally, I have an issue with that. There's too much information in each field for you to be good at everything you do.
Well, let me tell you where that's coming from. Let me tell you where that's coming from, gentlemen. That's coming from, once again, and I'm using the word a lot, ignorance. And ignorance meaning not having knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, of. It's coming from a culture, for example, in Jamaica, let me speak on Jamaica. In Jamaica, when someone passes the bar and they're now an attorney, they're now considered an attorney. So anything of any legal nature, they can handle. If it's real estate, they can handle it. If it's, you know, if it's a business, they can handle it. Everything they can handle. That's how people look at it. So that's the reason why this show is excellent for the education of the people to understand what being an attorney is all about and the different areas, the different capacities. And that's the reason why it's extremely important that we break it down just like you did, Nelson, that you can't be the jack of all trades and master of none. It destroys what it is that you represent, you are representing as an attorney and what the people are truly looking for. So I'm very happy that at PPID, the word that you used, you said period, but I said, you are an immigration attorney exclusively. You know, Greg Pinto is a criminal defense attorney exclusively. Adam Handler is a personal injury attorney exclusively. Conrad Pollack is an immigration attorney exclusively. It's all under one umbrella, the law firm PPID. And that's the reason why we say to the people out there, we're here to clear the air. We're here to clear up the ignorance. We're here to represent you in the respective capacity when that issue comes up. And that's the reason why we're very happy to have all the attorneys here for you. So store the number, save the number, 844-774-3529. See, Greg's pointing at it on his screen right there, 844-PPID-LAW. I wish all of this was actually on 93.5. I think I'm going to edit out this section and replay it on the station. I think it's so important that I replay this entire section on the station right here.
You know, you need to throw out there as well, again, and we talk about this all the time, because most of the calls we get are from people that either have been misled or abused or ripped off by other lawyers or notaries or friends or what have you. And others are clients or prospective clients that have tried to do their immigration cases themselves, that filed and screwed it up or something happened and something they didn't understand and they ended up paying, suffering the consequences as a result. Perfect example. Client just contacted us day before yesterday. He filed for adjustment of status, had his interview on the day that immigration closed in March. I think at Nelson, March 17th or whatever. And he had his interview scheduled for the day, and he called immigration and somehow was able to speak to people. They said, come on in, you could come in early, whatever. They wouldn't let him in. They said, don't worry, we're going to cancel, reschedule the interview. Guess what? He just got a notice the other day that immigration denied his case because he failed to show for his interview. Okay, so now he's calling us and he wants us to straighten it out for him.
Let me put it
now. All right, so guess what's going to happen now?
What?
All right, he's going to have to refile the entire case all over again. And he needs to do it quickly because his case was denied. He's got 30 days to do something about it, because if not, immigration is likely going to put him into removal proceedings. And he's going to have to go before an immigration judge and explain why he's here illegally and why they shouldn't deport him.
And
something as simple as that.
You get what you pay for.
Right.
You get what you pay for.
Except the free consultation. Except the free consultation.
Except the free consultation. All right. Because remember, yes, I do believe that you should, of course, take it for a spin. And you take it for a spin by the free consultation. You take it for a spin based on what you're listening to right here and watching right here.
Or as Conrad would say, take a sip and then buy the bottle. Conrad and I are big wine guys, so whenever the sommelier says, "Hey, you want to give it a test drive?" That's always a bonus.
Talking about this bottle.
Nice.
By the way, folks, that's tea. Anyway,
it's water. It's actually water.
844-774-3529. Let me reel off these questions and you guys just pump them out because I don't want anyone to beat me up. Did I ask this one? My sister is my petitioner who is filing for me. Okay, good. I received the NBC case number, but upon checking my birth certificate and marriage certificate, I noticed that my father's middle name is incorrectly spelled.
Yeah, what's the question?
Okay, basically the papers that we mailed a year ago also has the wrong spelling and they approved it. I haven't had an interview yet. My question is, should I make an affidavit supporting papers that he is my real father or what?
Yes. And again, as Nelson mentioned previously, it is possible that immigration, if it's an issue, they'll issue what's called an RFE, request for additional evidence, and they would ask for a blood test if that was an issue, and they could do it. Or they can be proactive and do the blood test on their own and then supply it at the time of the interview if they're really concerned about it.
Okay. I submitted the I-130 in January 2020 for my wife for her CR1 immigrant visa. The I-130 was approved in May 2020. When I submitted the I-130, I had already provided passport pages, marriage certificate, facial photos, etc. Since it's only been a few months, and the supporting documents are updated and correct, do I still have to provide some of the same things, passport photos, facial photos, marriage certificate, etc., for Form DS-260 for NVC?
They shouldn't have to do that. No, the DS forms that. Let me start over. The spouse is obviously outside the United States. They are not adjusting status. Adjusting status means they're applying for the green card in the United States, and in this case, National Visa Center, they're processing at the consul level. They should not have to supply those documents to the NVC. Once the I-130 is approved, it will be forwarded to the National Visa Center. The National Visa Center will then ask them to pay filing fees for the fee bills, and then they'll fill out the 260 and they'll submit copies of whatever documents that are requested that they haven't supplied yet. But duplicates, no, unless the NVC specifically asks for duplicates, not necessary. But when there is that interview at the consulate, I would recommend bringing all original documents to that interview. You never know if they're going to ask for them.
Okay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Cruisin with a case handler, 844-774-3529. Our guest today happens to be Greg Pinto. Want to say thanks to, of course, all the attorneys here, immigration, personal injury, and criminal defense. Hammer, it's hammer time. I'm going to let you say your spiel for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to conclude the show. So give me the hammer time. That's what we're going to call it. It's hammer time. It's hammer time, man.
Is spiel, is that patois? What is spiel?
I don't know, man. I don't know where I picked that up from. I don't. Maybe I can call it somewhere.
Spiel is Yiddish.
I know. No essay. Yes, I know that. I just love it.
spiel, whatever. I don't know where I picked
No,
it
it's
up.
all good, man. It's a perfect word.
Trying
Well, look,
something.
I want to bring everything full circle. Adam before was talking about a case where his client was injured in an accident and the driver was a drunk driver. Not every listener out there is the victim. Unfortunately, some of the people out there might be the person who was driving drunk, made a bad choice, and got arrested. And that's why if you call us, we have lawyers that can handle any kind of situation. You might be the person who was injured in an accident where the driver was drunk, or you might be the person who got arrested. And that's where I come in. I've handled hundreds of DWI cases, maybe thousands in my career, both as a prosecutor and a defense attorney. I've seen every single, they come in all shapes and sizes, and I've seen them all. And look, you need a good lawyer, because otherwise you may have a lawyer that's just trying to push your case along and get it off his desk or her desk, right? You need a lawyer that's going to fight for you. You need a lawyer that's going to push to find the best deal possible. A lot of those DWI cases are hard to beat. You got to make a good deal. Some of the cases are beatable, and we got to go to trial. I won a trial just last year on a DWI case.